and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode 361 for the week of July 17th, 2018, pre-Comic-Con week. My name is Ryan Higgins, who's here with me this week. Actually, it is Comic-Con week. It's not pre-Comic-Con week. This is Comic-Con week. The pre-Comic-Con podcast.
I guess. Are we licensed officially?
No.
Oh.
100% unofficial.
Brock Sager.
Who's here? It's Brock.
Bryce, who is Art Germ Larsen.
You've learned. You walked in and you're like, hey, an Art Germ cover. I know this guy.
I knew it immediately when I saw it because I learned for the first time last week that who this Joker was. I didn't know that he was just a mercenary doing stuff for both Marvel and DC.
If it's the biggest stack on the shelf and it doesn't say Jim Lee in the bottom corner, it's probably Art Germ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, now I know as of last week for the first time ever.
Did you buy said Art Germ cover that you saw today?
No, because the life and death or whatever it is of Captain Marvel, I could be bothered. I can live without it.
No, I put a post on Twitter earlier today and I said, people may complain about variant covers, but here's why retailers love them and here's why companies love them. And I put up my entire order history for the life of Captain Marvel, which issues 1 and 2 have both been solicited. 3's we're putting orders in for now. And number 1 with the variant covers and special, especially the Art Germ cover, that's like 60 copies or something like that. For number 2, it's 10. Like, that's just why. Because it's like, oh, Art Germ, cool. I'll take like 40 of those and a couple of the other variants.
Well, because the sell-through rate on the Art Germ covers, even if you're left with 10...
Oh, I have 5 pre-orders for the issue, which is 3 more than I had for the previous issue. So I got 5 copies for those people. I had 17 pre-orders for the Art Germ cover alone. I got 40 total. I should have ordered more. I think I had it at 75 my first pass through, but I think I just lowered it. I didn't want to get stuck with a bunch. But I probably wouldn't have. Art Germ sell so good. But yeah, then
Sell so well.
Sell so well.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It sells so good sounds better.
Eh.
Sells so good.
But then
Never do that again.
But then, yeah. So that's why stores love variant covers. Because customers love variant covers. And companies love variant covers.
Like, it's not been beaten
okay,
to death on this podcast.
Hold on. They love variant covers that are open order, that are good artists.
Well, right. Garbage variants don't do anything. Yeah. But Bryce, I thought you said I hated variant covers. That's always what you think.
There were several years where you would just complain. You and Brock were the absolute worst, and you would complain about
hold on.
Marvel's...
Breaking news.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Was I done?
Yeah, you're done. Breaking news. Bryce Larsen is subscribed to the Comics Conspiracy YouTube channel. Thank you, Bryce Larsen.
You know what? It might not have been me. It was me.
Sorry.
Okay, so
we've made it when Bryce Larsen quotes subscribes.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh man. To be so lucky. What was I even talking about?
I used to hate variant covers. Now I like them.
Squirrel run by.
Squirrel.
So, by the way, how sad of a movie is Up? I mean,
yeah, I will never watch it again.
Me too. Really, you too?
I mean, I'll fast forward.
You don't even have kids.
I'll fast forward through the first 10 minutes, and then I'll watch the rest of it.
Oh my god, dude! I will never watch that movie again because it just wrecked me. Anyway. There were several years where you and Brock were insufferable complaining about how Marvel was winning in the sales charts, but you would always make sure to caveat, especially Brock is the worst. It's because of all their variants. Oh, it's because they wouldn't be winning except for the variants. Oh, their books are trash except for the variants, and you're just collecting money. This is me for the audio listeners. I'm licking my finger. I'm thumbing through my stack of ones because I'm Ryan Higgins, and I'm
Are you the one that has
counting all the money that I'm getting from all these Marvel comic sales because of all the variants. And you would just always caveat with the biggest glass of Haterade in your left hands and just sipping on your Haterade while Marvel is just crushing it. And then DC's like, oh yeah, I'd like to release 50 different variant covers for the Justice League, fucking bullshit nobody cares about, 50 different state covers. And of course Marvel did it later. But at least they had the precedent set.
But you can order a set.
That's a compelling argument. Said nobody. So what I'm saying is that you guys were just awful about always qualifying Marvel success with variants, and now it's like, oh yeah, well, it's actually, pays the rent. Variants aren't so bad.
Oh yeah, I mean, when it comes to Amazing Spider-Man, I mean, that had so many variant covers, and we blew through them. We just put in an initial order for Fantastic Four #1, and I believe, it's the highest ordered Marvel comic ever. Nothing will touch. Yeah, nothing will touch Action Comics 1000 except for maybe Detective. No, we didn't order that many of Star Wars #1. No. We have again 4 art germ covers, so that's going to be a pretty set right there.
4 different art germ covers.
Yeah, one for all 4 of them.
I want. Does that come in a set? I bet it doesn't.
There's a set on comicsconspiracy.biz right now. All 4 covers.
Hashtag.
Love the hub.
Middle ground about the hub.
But you can. I mean, by the time it comes to number 2, obviously we're not going to sell even a fraction of that. But yeah, no, it's. Yeah, for those big number 1s, those variant covers are crazy.
I assume that the 4 art germ covers are going to be Doctor Doom, the Wizard, Mole Man, and Black Bolt.
Close. If only there was 4 other characters involved in the Fantastic Four.
Let me stroke my faux beard that I like to think that I can grow.
Midnight sale for that. We're going to do it too, July 31st.
You're going to do a midnight sale?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for FF number 1.
This has got to be your second ever Marvel midnight sale.
The very first midnight sale we ever did was for Uncanny Avengers number 1. That was the first time they ever allowed one.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we did that one.
I would have guessed it was the what was the?
How do we do on that one?
We've never done bad on a midnight sale. They've all done amazing.
Humongous relaunches.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
The only indie one we've ever done is Walking Dead. I don't think there ever was another one though. Walking Dead 100.
Mm-hmm.
We did Metal. We did Doomsday Clock. Mm-hmm. We did Justice. New 52?
New 52.
New 52 and Rebirth.
And Rebirth, yeah.
Was there another Marvel one we did? I think there was. I feel like there's more than 2.
Was it an Avengers one?
Oh, what about the
Legacy stuff?
Yeah.
No, they offered it, but we didn't do it.
Oh, no, that doesn't sound like Higgins at all.
They offered it.
I don't think there was a midnight sale for Legacy. There could have been. It's just on one book. I don't think there was. They don't do it for everything. I mean, they did it. They're like, oh yeah, DC's doing a midnight sale for Batman 50. We'll also do one for Captain America number 1. It's the same day. So but we didn't do that for DC either. So yeah, I mean, we haven't done all of them. But yeah, we're going to do the midnight sale for FF in a couple weeks. So
it's kind of cool.
Look for the newsletter this week. But yeah, a lot of cool covers for Fantastic Four. But yeah, I love those variants.
For those of us on the, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Order those up so I can ship them out to you.
Yeah, I have a couple orders.
Excellent contribution. For those of us on the hashtag Hate the Hub program, I would like to say that I put in some very significant input that I'm sure will get to the creator right after this podcast as to how to make the program easier to use, which is to push emails to clients to manipulate their orders. Because for myself, half the reason that I don't use the hub is because I'm not reminded to all the time.
Yeah, we can't do that. I mean, once it's we can't really push through the email, but the email is there. It'll tell you what's coming in. We'll say, hey, you get Wolverine, so we're gonna pull this new Wolverine book for you. Like that, those come in.
If you push me an email every week on Monday or Tuesday that says this is what you're getting, that is tremendously helpful to A, remind me, and B, provide an easy link as opposed to opting into like opening a separate browser tab to go to the Comic Hub, because otherwise I just don't think about it. I just don't remember, consider,
get in the routine, Bryce.
Fart. Yeah. Pardon me?
Wednesday, you got to get in the routine in the morning. Let me go on my Comic Hub app, hit that next week button, see what comes out next week.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that most social media related businesses, any business that wants to make money and has a social media presence, relies on people, their customers, to do more, or do you think they put it in front of them and offer it up on a platter? Which company do you think does better? Which makes more money, do you think?
It just depends.
It just depends.
That is a humongous fail of an answer.
What's the product?
I mean, did you hear what I asked? It's
you said
sort of laid out for you.
Any business with a social media platform, but what product?
Let me think of a wild, crazy one. How about comics?
Okay, so you want me to push you the next size superior book?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, we can do that. We have emails that would go out Wednesday morning, or Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday morning, we send out the newsletter that has like a list for stuff for next week.
I invite that. I would love that. I would.
We send it out every week.
I would look at what
we send it out every week.
You have to open the newsletter.
You should be.
Wait, you're already doing this?
Yeah, the newsletter has a link in there for everything coming out next week. Now it's all attached to Comic Hub, but see, the problem is that's all attached to the storefront, not the
It doesn't tell me what I'm getting.
No.
Okay.
No.
Is that possible, or is that too much of a pain in the ass?
Yeah, it's possible.
I would like to think that you could automate that.
I can.
That would be awesome. I would love to get that.
Okay.
It would only make you more money from me.
It tells you what you're getting. Yeah.
I would take that.
Okay. Maybe I'll start doing it then.
Yeah, well.
Anyway.
Please do.
Let's talk about some stuff for the comic book stuff. It's we are just pre-Comic-Con, so we don't have a ton of stuff to talk about.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Wednesday night. It's preview night.
Okay, so I have a question. Does it actually? Yes, it starts tomorrow. But like, what? Can you give me like a rough bubble timeline of when does shit actually get going off?
I mean, so Wednesday night is preview night.
Any of you were wondering,
it's a special night only available to certain pass holders. You can't just go. You can't. It's not available to every pass holder. You have to have basically, if you have the passes for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or you're a retailer or a special event or a vendor, you can go to preview night.
Do they do it for journalists too?
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's all the same pass. Yeah, anything that would be an all weekend pass.
Okay.
Since they don't sell Comic-Con tickets for the whole convention anymore, they piecemeal them out. So the only way to get the preview night is if you've qualified for all 4 days, which is harder and harder to get.
I believe it.
I know. So I was talking to a customer that was like, "I got Thursday and Sunday. I don't know if I'm going because I can only go for 2. I can only go to the con Thursday and Sunday. So Friday and Saturday, like they can't go to anything, which would suck." But yeah. So they have Thursday is the official first day. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Got it.
So, and obviously Friday, Saturday are the big days.
Okay, interesting. I like it.
Toby and Charlie are both going to be there. Our friend Lane, a bunch of other people. So if you see any of them, say hello.
Is Kevin Sharp going?
Kevin Sharp's going. Yep.
Indicator.
So we'll have
Indicator's going?
We'll have a good.
Oh man, I wish I could be there.
Assuming they all survive, we should have a good group of people here next week talking about what they saw at Comic-Con. We'll obviously cover the news as well. But a couple random things that did get dropped just prior to Comic-Con here. Not too much comic news, but some TV movie stuff.
Wait, Comic-Con is about comic news?
No.
There must have been some hints as to what they would drop.
Well, DC will have a lot of news because they're going to have a lot of the movie and TV stuff there. There should be some comic news from DC. Yeah. Word is they're going to announce all of their new upcoming titles, like Killer Sue DeConnick on Aquaman and Grant Morrison on Green Lantern. That whole batch of books. Again, I don't...
Do like John Shazam stuff.
I mean, that's already been announced, but yeah.
And the new DC mega crossover spinning out of metal, Alloy #1.
What? Yeah.
Alloy. Is that that's a chemistry joke, not a physics joke, right? Alloy.
Sure.
Is it a chemistry joke or a physics joke?
I don't know.
Either way, it's a bad joke.
But no, the only thing spinning out of metal is Age of Heroes, and less said about that, the better. But some random news. We have X-Men Gold. We have X-Men Blue. Mm-hmm. Those are both being canceled.
Thank God.
Out of nowhere, Marvel said, let's just announce something else. Let's announce X-Men Black.
You mean Uncanny X-Force?
No, it's just called X-Men Black.
It will not be that good. There's no chance in hell.
The J. Scott Campbell Magneto cover. They revealed more information Sunday, July 22nd, at the X-Men panel at Comic-Con. So, yeah, at least something is getting... I mean, they technically announced it, but something else is going to happen. I don't know if this is just a miniseries tiding stuff over till the official X-Men relaunch, which I assume would happen. It's going to happen just post-extermination. But, yeah, they like these little color-coded X-Men books.
So, I really wish, and I saw your very clever tweet about how, does Johns get royalties on this? That is actually, I think, clever, and if not too on the nose. I have been liking how they're color coding this stuff.
You actually got a question about it too,
to a certain extent. So. Do you want to ask the question, and then we can just talk about it just briefly?
Yeah, let me see if I can find the question.
Nothing's briefly with you.
So from Keith, this is X-Men Black. Am I the only person who isn't tired of the color themed teams? Not being facetious, I fist pumped when the Black was announced, and I'm excited for a more villainous group of X-Men.
So I am totally with Keith, 100%. I have still loved the color scheme titles, and am not getting tired of it. I just thought that it was so out of left field. Like, what an odd choice. I do think that they've sort of kept within their gold is more classic and blue is more new folks, and black seems to be more villainous and red is just goobers.
Is Dupe on that team?
I mean, red is probably my fourth favorite team, and I haven't even read X-Men Black. So I would just say, yeah, I'm also liking the color scheme. I just find it like sort of random and weird, like why they chose to do that. Like, they could have gone with like a number scheme, or they could have gone with like, words that start with X and a hyphen, and just like played with that.
Or just gone the classic X-Men, Uncanny X-Men.
Well, yeah, but
that is coming. We all know that,
right? But they couldn't have done like, when they want to spin off new ideas like Red, because Red will be canceled in. I mean, Higgins will probably tell us next month. Like, Red will be canceled, and then what do they do with that? And then Black is going to be probably a mini-series. It probably can't last too long, and so then what do they do about that? I love the idea that these different colors are representing different themes within the X universe that they're then able to sort of, sew up and then move along. I absolutely love how they're doing it. I just, miss the Uncanny X-Men and proper X-Men days, so... I'm also loving it, and I'm excited about, X-Men hologram with that lady that creates doors and Dazzler and probably Pixie. I mean, like, there's so many colors that can be explored, kind of. But I like what they've done so far.
How is X-Men Red not Jean Grey and Rachel Grey and Siren and Banshee? I guess Banshee could be there. Wolfsbane. Like, I'm trying to think of all like the red-headed characters. Like, how is it not all of them? That's what it should have been.
Well, it's a missed opportunity is what it is.
Yeah.
Because then it would just be called X-Men Ginger.
No.
Oh, good point. Maybe that's an upcoming title, Brock.
Oh, Jesus
Are they
Christ.
gingers?
You'll make a
when
guest appearance. You'll be holding a Harley Quinn comic
I don't think you
book.
call women with red hair gingers.
No, anyone with
That's
red
like a
hair is-
derogatory man.
anyone who has red hair is considered a ginger.
Wait, that's a great question. Are ladies with red hair? They're not. You're right. They're not considered gingers.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that's like a derogatory comment to men with red hair.
Sorry, Brock.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Said it right. Did you see this preview? This was something else that came out around the same time as X-Men. I think X-Men Black was just the other day. Said it right was just prior to that.
Said or set?
Set it right. It's a shot of Cyclops.
I'm sorry.
Seemingly adult Cyclops with his visor off.
Well, so why do you think that it was? So I saw only a picture. I haven't read anything, but ever in my life. Why do you think that it was adult Cyclops?
Because she looks like an adult male in a comic book. Like, he looks jacked.
Was it drawn by Ed McGuinness? Because then he'll probably be as big as the Hulk. Like,
I mean, Kid Cyclops is scrawny. Like, they slim, as they call him. Like, they definitely...
As they used to call him.
Yeah, they definitely...
Oh, guess who is here?
I think Toby's doing a Toby run by, which means he'll be here for only 3.5 hours.
Okay. That's my type of briefly.
yeah. So a lot of X-Men stuff that'll be coming out of Comic-Con. Yeah. I gotta show you guys something later off air.
We probably shouldn't tell Toby about the Gambit and Rogue divorce they're going to announce at SDCC.
No, but you should definitely show Toby your shirt.
I don't want to. I don't
yeah.
want to make the audience mad, but I totally have something to show you guys off air that I can't talk about on the podcast.
Okay, then why would you even mention that?
Because it's funny.
It's funny to you and Brock.
Let's talk about some
It will be funny to you soon.
movie and TV stuff.
We need like a jingle.
Bryce want to show Toby, the second biggest cable fan in the room, his new shirt. Bryce has a shirt that says "Ma Chérie."
Mon chéri.
Ah, thanks. That's my shirt. Why is it on you?
Anyway, all right. What was your next question?
Take that shit off. Toby wants you to take his shirt off.
Please don't.
Duncan Jones, son of David Bowie,
Okay.
directed Moon, directed Warcraft, the motion picture. He sent out a message saying that he was going to direct another comic, that he wanted to direct a movie. He was interested in directing a comic book movie, which we didn't hear. We hadn't heard anything about this, right? And And so he's going down the list of properties. He said maybe a Marvel or a DC movie. He said, I really like that. That Shirtless Bear Fighter comic that Image had put out. And then he goes, well, maybe I'll just...
I haven't been made into a comic.
He said, maybe I'll just, give you guys a hint that he takes off his little hoodie. And everyone in America and everyone outside of England went, huh? What? All right, we have no idea what this is. And everyone in England went, holy fucking shit! So he's directing a movie called Rogue Trooper based on a 2000 AD comic by Dave Gibbons that nobody in America knows. Okay, look, obviously I'm being facetious. Clearly people here know about it. So I hope this is cool, but...
Very small amount of people.
For our audience in the UK, if any of the Big Bang crew are listening, for any of the guys over and in England, I can't stress how difficult and hard it is for us to get this stuff here. It's so rarely available. Any of the 2000 AD stuff. There's a ton of Dread stuff that they printed here, and it's all out of print. They just don't keep it around. People in America don't buy anthologies, so 2000 AD does not sell in America. I know it sells great over there. It just doesn't sell here. And these characters just don't have the appeal here. It's so hard to find these books. Mm-hmm. There's been various collections, but nothing for most of these characters is available at this point. The few times they have done collections, they've been kind of not great. They're just not formats that Americans have usually preferred. They've had a lot of oversized collections that just hasn't fit with a lot of the American comic releases. So I'm really curious about this movie. I hope it's good. I don't expect Rogue Trooper comics to do anything here. I would love to support more of these titles if they had better releases in America. Something like Judge Dredd or this or ABC or Warrior magazine or any of this stuff. It's cool, but you need complete sets, you need collections, you need material that we can sell, and there just isn't. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's available all in the UK. I mean, I'm sure every single volume's available all the time. It's just not here.
So that's got to change if and when this movie is actually made and marketed, correct?
IDW has one random collection of something that they did here in America that didn't sell, like from a modern day. Like I don't know what they would. Yeah, like I don't know what they would do.
Who owns 2000 AD? What is that?
What's that company? It's called Rebellion. It's like Rebellion 2000 AD. Like that's like the company. It's not owned by anything. It's its own thing, as far as I know.
All right, so maybe they're just too small to have like a competent grasp on.
I mean,
worldwide marketing? I don't know.
They're a big company over there. It just like a lot of manga stuff that doesn't have a U.S. publisher. If it's not here, it's just not going to ever come out. No one here is going to know about it or have a way to see it. And it's not going to keep it in print. Marvel and DC and Image go through and reprint and repackage and reformat this stuff constantly. And stuff, obviously, a lot of stuff's out of print, but this stuff does.
Well, they do the same over there with this stuff.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
it's just crazy that entrepreneurial company in the U.S. would be like, hey, 2000 Rebellion, AD, whatever, we can help you here. We can make you a lot of money. Partner with us.
DC teamed up with Humanoids. Humanoids is a company that publishes a lot of European stuff. And DC teamed up with them for a little while and put out some stuff, but they dropped it really fast. It just wasn't working for them. So now Humanoids just has its own stuff in America. And it sells well enough. They're cool collections, but I don't know what they're...
Well, it's because DC isn't as good. Ooh, still got it.
So I just don't know how well this movie would do over here. I hope it does well and leads to...
The premise sounds like a perfectly functional action movie.
Yeah.
With a competent director and, even with the small budget, depending on what they do.
Yeah.
Worse movies with less budget and worse directors have done better.
Sure. I mean, for me, I just care about the comic books, right? I'd like to see more of the 2080 stuff available here. So.
When HeroClix had its first indie set, way back in fucking, I want to say, Jesus.
They have 2000 AD
2002, I want to say was the first indie set, 2003, 2004, somewhere early to...
They celebrated 15 years recently, so...
Early double aughts. They had a whole team symbol around the 2000 AD, and a bunch of them were not for sale here, and I had to eBay a shit ton of them from the UK, even though the pieces were terrible. I just loved collecting them, and you could make semi-mediocre team out of the 2000 AD HeroClix characters, and fucking I absolutely loved it. And I'm not even an Anglophile on the same like scale as you are, so I wish they would do more with 2000 AD here. It's just crazy that like so much stuff of ours is available there and not vice versa. And I'm sure that is due to reasons that are obvious once you know them. I just don't know them.
Well, the stores in the UK that have Diamond Comic distribution accounts from Diamond Comics UK, they can get American comic books out there, but there's a lot of stuff. They have their own companies that print the UK versions of American comics. They're usually anthologies or collections, so it's not like all the things are available exactly the same way there with the UK counterpart. It is they're literally getting the exact same books we are from Diamond UK, which is a sub distribution part of Diamond US, but a lot of that stuff doesn't come back this way. It's just a different group of people. So
they don't
different company.
Translate the books to. Every time any character says color, they add a U in there. Or every time they talk about soccer in comics, they say, like, they add a line which it's coming home and stuff like that. That doesn't happen.
Another movie that I expect we'll hear more about at Comic-Con, maybe not, but word is it starts shooting pretty soon. So, but the start of next year, end of this year. We got some more info on the upcoming Birds of Prey movie. So again, rumors always, but rumors that I'm very happy for if this is true. I know Margot Robbie said that she wanted a bit more diverse cast of characters because Birds of Prey would be, and especially if they're Harley, just for Huntress is Italian, white. So the new rumor.
Wait, Harley Quinn is in Birds of Prey.
So there's been a Birds of Prey movie, a Gotham City Sirens movie. We're pretty sure they're just the same thing. Mm-hmm. She's producing it. She's going to star in it. But we don't know to what the Birds versus the DC female villains. We don't exactly know how this is going to work. Like, obviously, there's no...
This is like having the star power of a show called Gotham and having Bruce Wayne in it. And we'll have a bunch of the supporting cast in it. But what the
Well, what?
First of all, Batman isn't in Gotham, or unless I haven't watched anything past season 1. And second of all, I understand. I guess it's just star power and her money being invested in it. But what the fuck is Harley Quinn doing in a Birds of Prey? Is she in Birds of Prey?
Yeah, sure. I mean, any female character in the especially any Bat female character in the DC universe has been a member of the Birds of Prey in one fashion or another. Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy.
They've all been like. His colleagues and his confidants and his
the whole
allies as opposed to Harley Quinn.
No, the whole point of Birds of Prey is to go outside of Batman, is to do their own thing. So in the more recent books, Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy have both been members of Birds of Prey in the Rebirth series. And they were there...
Poison Ivy?
Yeah, and they were there in random times in the old books, so...
Really?
Yeah, not like a super common thing, but...
Okay,
they're mostly fighting them, but... When shit goes down,
Okay. All right.
So the cast...
I cannot pretend to know a lot about Birds of Prey, but I just thought it was like Bat allies that are ladies.
The rumored group of who would be in this movie outside of Harley Quinn would be Black Canary, which obviously she's kind of the co-head of the...
Have we cast any of these people?
No. Nothing is. This is not official.
Harley.
This is the big.
Yes, I know.
This is the big rumor of kind of all these movies are merging together, and this is what the cast is going to be. And again, we'll hear more about this soon. But I'm very excited for this. If this is true.
Yeah.
It's Black Canary.
Yeah.
Huntress.
Awesome.
Okay. No Batgirl. No Oracle. She's the other
Birds
main
of Prey
member.
with no Oracle.
Right.
Toby. What do you think about this?
Oh, he loves this because of the next two names I'm going to say. Cassandra Cain.
Oh,
who is the
Toby loves this.
more recent Batgirl, right? And then Renee Montoya, who has been various characters, including The Question.
Wait. And Margot Robbie said she wanted a more diverse cast of characters?
Yeah, Cassandra Cain's Asian. Renee Montoya is
Latino.
Spanish, Latino. Yeah.
Right. So we're talking about the same thing.
Huntress is...
I thought you were saying that she was complaining about how there wasn't enough diversity.
No.
It seems to me like this is like a Marvel movie.
It sounds like... adding Cassandra Cain, adding Renee Montoya, taking out Batgirl.
The other group of white girls?
Taking out Batgirl but it also it frees it up to a very different story. I mean, you have Rina Montoya, assuming she'll be part of the GCPD, possibly coming over to become the Question. Maybe Cassandra Cain's.
Oh God, what's the female chief's name?
Who?
Renee Montoya.
Waller?
It was Renee Montoya was dating her, and then Batwoman was dating her.
Oh,
you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah. I forget her name.
No, it opens up a lot of different avenues.
Well, movies nowadays are much better about acknowledging diversity than they historically have been. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's awesome.
Maybe we'll get Thunder.
And a female director, female writer on the script as well. So,
get it, girl.
Yeah. Speaking of women, speaking of Batwomen, speaking of DC, Greg Berlanti, he already does Arrow. He does Flash. He does Legends. He does Supergirl. He does Black Lightning. And now we have a Batwoman TV series.
Oh, thank God.
I love Batwoman. Oh, God, I love the new Batwoman so much. She's going to premiere. We already knew this. She was going to premiere in the crossover coming this fall, winter, like kind of the mid-season. They've been doing these crossovers between the 4 shows the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So she's going to premiere in that. And if everything goes good, she's getting her own TV show.
If everything goes well.
On CW. Everything goes
good.
God.
So another... So what's that make? The sixth? Greg Berlanti. Well, 7th if you count Archie. Riverdale.
No, they're not going to have a crossover.
He's not doing
iZombie,
is he?
DC. No. 6th DC superhero show.
Jesus.
On CW by the same guy.
Those TiVos are going, no!
Dude, Greg Berlanti's just like all the money. Just all the CW money. Just to me. Oh, man. I love a Batwoman TV show. And it'd be so... I mean, I understand, Batman, Superman, they could be a little... They don't want to... They're trying to do the other characters on the shows, right? They had Batman... Or, sorry, they had Superman in a couple episodes of Supergirl. Mm-hmm. And if they want to throw an Arrowverse Batman in, I mean, this would be the place to do it. But I would hope that this would be her show.
Well, the thing is I think that... I mean, it's...
What is the thing?
They established with Arrow and, like, Supergirl and Flash and stuff, like... It's all part of the same universe, but Supergirl's in a different...
reality.
She's on a different... like Earth.
Yeah.
So it helps establish this.
She's not on the same Earth as them.
No. So like one of the crossovers was Crisis on Earth X, which was I
heard about that.
The Stalin Nazi world.
Whoa. It's aggressive for CW.
Yeah. A bunch of Nazis come and
really
shoot up a wedding, and so they all go to Earth X and fight the Nazis.
Yeah.
Gotta love fighting Nazis.
But it brought back Captain Cold for us, and it's more.
And he's going to be back next season too, more. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
In which show? Legends or Earth X show, or
you can be in any of them.
Okay.
They're all kind of.
I have to say, I'm simultaneously jealous of the mini connected universe. Well, not even mini now. I mean, it's kind of a real connected universe, but I'm also like so derisive of your like childish acting and writing and Mbappe stars. Not to be confused with Mbappe, because Kylian Mbappe is the greatest soccer player in the world after Ronaldo and Messi are about 2 or 3 years older than they are now. But, with your little teeny bopper TV shows, I mean, this is really exciting.
Yeah. I just more shows, because we have Titans, we have Swamp Thing.
What? No. So Titans isn't CW.
No, those are on the DC streaming app. And I believe that Doom Patrol show is actually a show. They're getting introduced in Titans, but I think they're being put into their own show. Yeah.
Wait, and so what channel is this going to be on?
On their streaming app.
Oh, just on the app?
And we're going to find out all about this at Comic-Con. All the details, pricing,
pricing, everything. What kind of budget can you get for only a show that only shows on an app?
Have you heard of Netflix? Yeah.
Have you heard of Amazon?
Yeah, I mean, clearly...
Yeah, but Netflix had a fucking tale of, like, 10 years of building up an audience.
Yeah,
I mean, I acknowledge that DC has the audience, but they don't have the app ingrained in everybody's fucking TV for a decade.
This is the question.
Although that was a good zing. I respect a good zing because I'm the zing master.
This is the question. I mean, CBS was able to do it to some degree with Star Trek and their other show. There's at least one other show on there. I mean, you've seen Yahoo try it. You've seen a few companies try to do this.
YouTube's been trying it. Like a lot of people are.
YouTube Red.
A lot of people are like, "Ooh, you need to see the new Karate Kid."
Yeah, that's kind of like what their big thing right now was the Karate Kid show. But I don't. Yeah, what is DC's reach? 1 million subscribers?
Maybe.
A couple million? Maybe?
How can you even ask that question without, like, I mean, price point is a huge thing.
Yeah.
Accessibility, like, is it going to be available on the Apple TV or Roku or
sure.
not?
It has to be on everything. I can't
Why do you
picture
think it
anything.
has to be, like-
I can't picture anything under $9.99 a month. I don't see any way. And again, so is $10 million a month? Does that equal 10 or 20 million a month? Is that the equivalent of producing 4 or 5 TV shows? Clearly, they're not going to all air at the same time. It'll be one, and then the next, and the next, and the next, and we'll just kind of keep rotating them through. But I mean,
So I hear you. DC has, second only to Marvel, the reach of this whole community, that nobody else can touch, and it'll be very interesting to see when Disney figures their shit out, how they're going to deal with their like exclusive channel or whatever.
I mean, Disney has such a gargantuan amount of content that they could put out. They could do a DC one, they could do a Star Wars one, they could do a Marvel one, right? But this is just DC. So they have their old cartoons and movies and TV shows. It's like Smallville and back. Was what it looks like.
By your own volition, you still subscribe to cable and you laugh at us cord cutters because you say how many like $10 a month, $15, $20 a month like programs are you going to sign up for?
Yeah.
And that's why you still love cable even though everybody tells you you're crazy and you laugh at all of us.
I do.
But like, so to your own reasoning, how many people are going to be like, I'm going to cut out Netflix so that I can add this DC channel?
0.
Okay. Also, second follow-up question is, I mean, with regards to Netflix, you're comparing it to Netflix, but... And
I mean, there's no comparison to Netflix, but it's...
I understand what you're going for, so...
Yeah.
And I know you're not apples to apples comparing it, I know that. But I'm just saying that Netflix was also in everybody's homes for a decade before they launched it. This hasn't been launched yet. And by the way, Netflix was like, I actually believe was ahead of its time when it rolled out.
Yeah, no, that's my question is, I don't know
think that, this thing is going to be launching in the middle of this swamp of pay us $10 a month. No, pay us $10 a month for our exclusive content.
The thing is people will just pay $10 a month, binge watch everything that they wanted to watch, and then stop paying.
That is such a ridiculous statement. Do you realize, like, that is the world that you live in, and that's the world that most nerds live in. But do you realize that that's not the world that 99% of the population lives in?
No, I know.
People don't actually do that.
I have
you
to
do
assume...
that, and like price-savvy people that actually like min-max their monthly subscriptions do that.
Yeah, I would assume...
Realistically, people just don't do that.
I would assume...
You can't...
90% of Netflix accounts are rolled over month after month after month. I don't... Mine
is.
I don't think...
Yeah, so is mine. I would say higher than 90%.
More, yeah.
I would say 98%.
I don't think people add and drop on. Like, people tell me they do that, and I'm like, that's really weird. That's a lot of work.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and that's how they're so successful.
Weird.
All of them.
Yeah,
it's because it is a lot of work.
Yeah,
I mean, and by the way, it's not that much work. It's just like some work. And
you have to do.
People would rather.
I'd rather pay $10 than do work.
You know what? $10, $15, whatever it is per month. Like I could just do no work, and then I still have it anyway.
I joked about the DC app because people are like, "How much would you pay for this?" And I was like, "I would only pay no more than $99.99 a month for this." Of course, I was joking, but I will get this regardless of price, right? I will keep this regardless of price. But again, I don't know. I have no idea where he went.
He's on the phone in the back.
Oh, okay.
I think that he's on a 900 number call.
I don't know how many people are going to subscribe to this to make this many. I mean, we'll never know numbers for Netflix. We'll never know numbers for CBS All Access. We'll never know numbers for Amazon. So I don't. There's no comparison. We don't have any number. But I mean, I figure.
I agree with everything.
Anything short of 1 million subscribers, I don't see how it works. And is there
what?
a million?
What?
And is there 1 million?
No, they don't need 1 million subscribers. It's a loss leader to get them into their platform, to get them into like buying other things.
Warner Brothers
don't need 1 million people.
Do you think Warner Brothers?
They are not going to get 1 million people. That is crazy.
Do you think Warner Brothers is going to throw 4 TV shows worth of budget and just go meh? I mean, if they check it out, they check it out.
You say 4 TV shows worth of budget. That like has any statement other than something that I've said been ever more amalgamous? Like. Or wait, amalgamous is not the right word. But my point is, like, 4 TV shows worth of budget could be nothing, or it could be so much.
Well, are they pulling Arrow and Supergirl and DC Legends and all the CWs off of Netflix?
The
and
list
they're only
we
gonna
saw,
be on
the list we saw through their trailer
That is a great question.
Basically, I believe it was Smallville and before. No CW stuff. No Arrow. No Arrowverse.
That seems like a relatively big blow.
I assume it's
probably,
because
it's probably
somebody's blown.
Well, no, it's probably the agreement that they have with Netflix
I would think
is
it's
not expired.
I would think it's partially that, and partially they already have an audience for that.
Right,
on
it's
the
too
TV.
lucrative to stay on Netflix.
Yeah,
Netflix is like, look, these are the numbers you're getting.
They already
Let me
have
show
it.
how many downloads and views we get.
They already have it on the CW app, so
yeah, they have that on their own thing. So I know, so I think we talked about this. I'm sure we did. Riverdale did very well when it was on CW. Was a colossal hit on Netflix, and their ratings skyrocketed for season 2 when it premiered because of they believe because of how many people checked it out on Netflix and good word of mouth.
Yeah.
So, although they may make more money if they had these shows on their own, just to the eyes that will watch this stuff on Netflix, I would think the potential.
And they'll probably air them on the app first, and then maybe dump them to Netflix to boost.
No. I'm talking. No. That'll never happen. No, those will stay on the app. No, I'm talking about Flash and Arrow and Legends and stuff. I would assume for the time being those will stay on Netflix because it's the current content. They don't. I would think those shows
have millions of subscribers is Netflix.
But that's what I mean. I mean, they have 100 million subscribers or more. So I think the eyes on those shows on Netflix is probably worth more to them than
I totally agree.
Than putting it on their own material.
I totally agree.
And Arrow and Flash would actually compete against Doom Patrol and Titans and Swamp Thing because it's their current own content. I would think it would be smarter to keep those on Netflix. No, eventually bring them all in, right? But for the time being, when you launch, I don't think you want the new season of Arrow and the new season of Flash to compete with the shows you're launching on the app. I think it's smarter to have the old stuff first, bring the new content in down the road. When Arrow wraps up in season 10 or whatever, then you dump all 10 seasons on the app.
I think what they need, I'm such a savvy businessman, they should just hire me. Except
make
that
it new and archive.
Boss. Is they need to differentiate themselves as opposed to being an also-ran with regards to, it seems like they are the latest in a long line of companies that are going to be having their own exclusive app with content. I mean, like,
well, so the comics, they're only going to have select comics on there.
Perfect example. That is a great idea.
It's not Marvel Unlimited. Marvel Unlimited is everything they have available digitally from 6 months prior and earlier.
Right.
And they put out new stuff all the time. DC's not going to do that. They're going to have select important graphic novels on their runs, and they're going to rotate it out all the time. Which
that is awesome. Capture a different audience.
Well, people wanted every DC comic ever on this app.
Of course, people wanted that,
but I don't.
Probably like half of them shop here.
I think that goes to what Bryce said earlier. Is that you push the things you want people to read. So Marvel Unlimited, it's like, holy shit, there's so much to look at. What am I going to read? Whereas this is like, what graphic novels are available this month?
Yeah.
And there's a selection of 50.
Yeah, well, those are not pushed at us. I mean, this is pushed at...
No. Yeah,
but how many casual people are going to...
Well, it's like, Killing Joke is... They have Killing Joke, the animated, running for whatever. And people go, oh, look, you can read the original on the app.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they could totally monetize it.
Look, Aquaman's coming to theaters. We're going to have these key Aquaman trades available for this, this time period.
Yeah, I'm very curious how this is all going to work out, and I'm excited to hear about it at Comic-Con.
Oh, look, we're all going to die. It's the end of the world. Here's all our comics.
What?
So, Bryce replied to every single question that someone asked.
By the way, even though you're trying to vilify me, I replied before you start throwing too much shade.
I'm like...
telling people that we will get to them this podcast, which is what you promised. And some I indicated more enthusiasm than others. just because I'm replying is acknowledging. Because, by the way, a lot of the times you ask for questions, they give you questions and you don't even acknowledge. I'm acknowledging the value of our listeners.
Sometimes you don't have
Toby
enough.
and I are all about answering all the questions
We don't have
from
enough
all of
time
our people
to watch.
You do realize this is Bryce, right?
There is always time, Higgins.
Yeah.
I want to give my time to the listeners because they give our time.
He'll
to
DoorDash
us.
more beer here.
Time for the people.
Hashtag Batman is California.
Try that again. Now you're on.
You make time for the people, Ryan.
I do make time for the people.
No, you do not. You ignore them and takes the monies.
And he mutes them.
And he mutes them and shuts down the podcast when we're still talking.
Let me get back. Let
No,
me scroll
Brock
back.
did that. Higgins has never done that.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he
he
does it all the
does.
time.
Oh, you mean at the end of the 2.5 hours?
Yes.
Yes, that's true. You're right. He
We
does
like
do
to
that.
go to 3 hours, but he doesn't like that.
Let me scroll.
The only one other than my wife that likes to go to 3 hours.
Oh, let me scroll all the way to
Hopefully
the
she doesn't
back.
listen
Well, actually, but okay, I got it here. Well, before I do that, can I point you towards 2 pretty cool articles that went up over the last couple days? One article went up yesterday. One article went up today.
No, Mr. 95%
this
doing
is-
all the
this
work
is-
at the shop.
Hold on.
No!
Hold on. He's trying to stroke his ego, make his head bigger. We're going to pop it. Okay? Just let him do it. Let him do it.
Mr. 95%.
At least it's not the 99%. Okay.
You go and lift next 95% of boxes. I'll watch you. I'll just do 5% of the work. Or when your door breaks next time, I'll do 5% of the work.
Okay.
And you do 95.
We call that pulling a Jeff and doing 5% of the work.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
I agreed at least.
Yeah. For certain things.
So Jim McLaughlin.
Use a drill, Ryan.
Jim McLaughlin, who some of you may recognize, he was one of the old guys at Wizard Magazine. His name popped up a lot. Also, more recently at Wired and ICV2 and a bunch of these sites. He reached out and said he's doing a series of articles. One of my to interview me on a couple of these. So I got to do 2. I got to do one called Business 3x3, basically 3 good things, 3 bad things, and 3 like kind of just
Random
questions.
topics, right?
Yeah, about some stuff going on in the industry. So that's at ICV2.com. So that's over there.
Are you going
And
to put a
bunch of
link
stuff.
in the description on the YouTube channel?
Maybe, yeah.
So it wasn't enough that you posted it on your social media, on your Facebook group. You have to actually talk about it too.
Oh, but tell people to go check this out if they want to. Yeah, what? I
You're
mean,
smiling a little much.
I told you
I just-
to inflate his head.
I did like 2 interviews. Sure, I'm going to talk about this. Now, the reason Toby's giving me so much shit is one of the negative things.
His name's John, right? The guy that wrote
Jim.
Jim.
One of the
I hope
negative.
Jim listens to this.
When he said,
Not Jim Joker.
he said, "Now tell me some negative stuff about the business." I said, "Well." I said, I'm sole proprietor. I'm on my own business myself. I'm the only full-time employee. I said, I do day-to-day stuff. I do 95% of the front of house work. I have guys who do specific stuff. When we have our sales, when we move, clearly I have them.
when
there's
someone
a lot
breaks
more
in,
work.
when your house burns down, when
So all
Times
the,
when you move.
right. So all this.
when you actually need work done with power tools.
So of course that part is cut out. So all it says is
Sure.
I do 95.
You just basically read the interview going, fuck. Okay, how do I fix this? I have to have answers ready for when Toby, Brock, and all these other jerk-offs are going to call me out on it. I better have an answer ready so I don't look like a jerk-off.
So I look like a jerk off because
this is his wouldn't.
the article says I did not. I'm like, I do 95% of the work, and my employees tell me I should let them do more. So for the record,
Hey, no, hold on. I have said that for years.
let me say
That you really do 95% of
that many days I'm here open to close 5 days a week. I do a large majority of the work at the store. It is my store. I own it. I run
including
it.
being on Twitter for 6 hours.
Sure. Well, someone's going to do it.
It was so funny how that didn't come up in the interview. I do 95% of the work.
On Twitter.
50% of it is talking shit on Twitter.
How about Trump?
Or his customers.
Yeah.
But no, with the store move and with the new business, there has been a substantial increase in business, which has led to yourself, Brock, and Marshall doing more work, and especially when we do the move, Toby, you and Milton, and other guys like that. And I said this. It's just that part did not quite make it in the interview.
We'll
so the
believe
part
you.
that said
We'll believe
that I do
you.
95% of everything,
Sure.
and I absolutely have given you guys more work to do.
Oh yeah. No, when I first started here, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Now almost. I was helping
If
organize
you were here
stuff.
12 years, then I've been here
I know.
more than 12
You've
years.
been here
And I
13.
did 10 years at Legends. So that means I've been over 2 decades in this stupid business. Actually, I really like this business.
I just came and started. I helped redo the bins. That's drill work. But it was. But the thing is when you bought the store just before I started working here, and with everything that I've seen in that back room, and I've gone through in that back room,
purged out a lot of it.
and purged out of that back room. And being on the other side and seeing ordering and all that stuff, there were the early years I was like, hey, do you want me to help? No, I got it. But you were focused, right? You were trying to establish the business for yourself.
It's because he actually wanted you. See, you got to remember, me and Charlie got hired by the previous owner when he was about to buy the store, and he was like, why the fuck is that asshole hiring these people I don't want here?
And it turned out to be the best investment because Charlie picks up Sundays. You're our constant
I'm
relief.
what's it, Sunday Dave, whatever it's called now? I think it's called Sunday Dave, right?
Sunday Dave.
Yeah.
Or whatever it's called.
Oh, that is.
I'm the third stringer at this point. I used to do every other Sunday, but now I'm the third stringer.
But the thing is,
You're the most handsome stringer.
you
As handsome as you, my friend.
even before you bought the store, you were doing a majority of the work.
You do a good job,
Over-
Ryan. I gotta go, guys. See you
All
later.
right, have fun at San Diego.
Bye.
See you later.
But yeah, over the years, you've gradually given us more to do. You've taken more vacations, right? I think the turning point, though, was I'm getting married and I'm leaving for a month on my honeymoon. Holy shit, I got to train these douchebags.
No, I mean, I had you guys do what I needed to do, and as the business has grown, and as we have more stuff to do, I have more stuff for you guys to do.
So I mean, I've been shipping more. I've been like it's all over the place. So
Yeah. There's a second article that Jim McLaughlin, same guy, for Wired, he interviewed a number of people about this. Does comics culture have an inferiority complex? So you can go read that article as well that was posted today. So yeah, I have some cool statements in both. Hopefully they're okay. Hopefully you guys like them if you read those articles. Toby's handing me a note. I have not heard back yet, so I don't know. I'll let you know.
Bye.
Later.
No, read both articles. They're really interesting, even with what was cut out.
Yeah, thank you. What the hell is Toby going on about?
He's all fucking 95%.
So, but while we get to some questions, let me go back down to my list. There's somewhere. I just need my mentions. I don't need everything. There's a lot of... See, Bryce, when you answer... Oh, there we go. Mentions.
Fuck
there
you.
we go.
I answered
you.
6 tweets. You can't... It's 2 fingers. You scroll past 6 tweets. Like, you're on Twitter all day long. You don't know how to do this more efficiently?
Sorry, I
Sorry.
lost the
Efficiently?
spot. I
Sorry.
lost the spot I was in. Here we go. Question from Alex. It says, we've seen a lot of image books get bought for adaptation, after 3 or 4 issues in the last month, like getting Fall, Skyward, Analog, and Infidel. Are we in the golden era of image books getting culturally relevant, or is this just Hollywood trying to suck up every piece of existing IP? Yeah, I mean, this is nothing new.
It's an IP.
This happens every year, and 1% of these will get made. Like, yeah, this is nothing new. This is what image has been.
No.
Well, I would say that nowadays 2% will be made as opposed to how it used to be 1%.
Well, I mean,
But
yeah, the last 10 years, every other image book has been picked up. That's why so many people go to Image, because they have like a direct connection to Hollywood. So
most of Mark Millar's books are just storyboards for the movie.
well, yeah, I mean, he has his own.
Higgins used that exact quote
I mean, he has his own.
still
however
works.
many months
It
ago.
still works.
I used that exact quote 15 years ago when Wanted came out.
No, my
12
point
years
is
ago, or
that,
whatever.
that these bogarting on your...
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I don't. This isn't anything new, really. I hope it's cool, but it takes so long for this stuff to happen.
Well, they're buying the rights to make the movie. Sometimes they buy the actual. They try and actually buy the rights outright, but most of the time it's just they're buying the rights to make the movie.
Yeah.
So if it becomes popular, and they're like, "Oh, well, we'll make a movie." Great. If not, the rights revert back to the creator.
Yeah.
At some point.
Final Fury K on Twitter asks, I buy a ton of DC and Marvel comics and I'm months behind on everything. Where do you suggest I start my backlog? What I would do at this point, if you're obviously months behind on everything, is put everything in alphabetical and chronological order. Issues, start with A, Amazing Spider-Man or Action Comics. Go 1 through 3, 4, 5, 6. Put them in order. Read big chunks, because if you just go and try to read them in the order they were released, you will get so lost and confused and it'll make no sense. I find when I'm that far behind, to burn through 6, 8, 10 issues in a row is a lot easier than just jumping around the stories. Don't read your favorite stuff first unless you're ready to purge everything else out, because if you read your favorite stuff first, you won't want to read anything else.
Yep.
Read your least favorite stuff first.
That's what I do.
And then wonder why you're still buying them.
That's what I do on a weekly basis.
Yeah, that is literally cutting to exactly what I do every week when I'm reading regularly. I get my stack of books for the week and I put it behind the previous week if I haven't caught up, and I do in order from least favorite to most favorite. And if I need to cut the least favorite because I'm still like, oh god, why is Cy Spurrier such a bad writer? Then I at least get that out of the way, and then I have dessert to look forward to when I get to Uncanny X-Men at the end. Except that Uncanny X-Men doesn't exist. Oh God!
He saves Champions
Someday.
for the end.
Champions, go fuck yourself. No. So yeah, I as these gentlemen already mentioned, save the best stuff for last. It'll make you want to keep reading.
Yeah, motivation to get there.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I do agree. Yeah, I would say go. Yeah, bundle it by title and then chronologically. I know it's very confusing. It depends on how bad your backlog is.
Yeah.
But you'll get there. It just you also have to decide at some point in time, like, do I want to even read this title? And if you like, I could skip all of this Cy Spurrier stuff, and then you just call up Higgins or go on the hub and cancel all the Cy Spurrier stuff. Not that I'm saying you should cancel all the Cy Spurrier stuff, because who would want to do that except for people with good taste?
And a similar question, Modog says, can you turn Bryce's microphone off? Yeah, sure, absolutely. Here we go. All right, there we go. Oh, we love Bryce. People think... I hope people realize that me and Bryce and Brock, we actually are friends and do like each other.
Yeah.
We may rag on each other a lot on this podcast. But I mean, that's just what friends do.
Yeah. That is what friends do. I want to know about the troll ass that asked that question and felt obligated to at me. I'm not sure if you wanted to know that he's a douchebag and wanted to know that he doesn't like me, but if you guys have a problem with me, thank you for adding me so that I know that you're awful human beings.
It's so you have that list like Jay and Silent Bob when they go door to door to beat up people who leave bad comments.
What? What is that?
Did you call me a pair of fucking clown shoes? That's so good.
What is that from?
James Howell Bob, was it Champa Strikes Back? Yeah, they find out people are talking shit about them.
I literally saw that when I was 18 years old.
They talk about people talking shit, or they find out people are talking shit about them on the internet, and they're like, "What the fuck's the internet?" And they go on, they get all these things, and they print out, and they track down where all these people live, and they go to their house, like beat them up and harass them.
Dude, that is awesome.
It's super funny.
I didn't like that movie at all.
Yeah, no, everything Kevin Smith does is pretty terrible now.
But that sounds like a very funny idea.
It's literally the only part of that movie I remember.
So anyway, summing it up.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was like Dick Puncher or something like that. Well, what was he called?
I think it was Dick Puncher. I don't know.
Yeah, it was something terrible. It's just, that was no good.
A little Twitter etiquette for everybody, including the trolls out there. If you're going to talk shit, unless you want to be even more of an ass clown than you are, just don't at the person you're talking shit about, and then I won't see it.
It's called subtweeting when you don't actually at the person. Yeah. And you're a little vague about it. It's called subtweeting. I do it all the time.
Subtweeting?
Yeah.
I gotta get better with this Twitter thing.
Nathan says...
So you're asking for how to tweet for idiots?
No, I'm not asking.
Nathan says, I was wondering if you guys know of any stories that touch on the psychology of why Batman collects trophies. They've been fixtures in the cave since before I got into Batman, but I've never read or seen a story that explores it. I mean, they've been in the comics since like the 50s, so yeah, it's a long-running thing.
What did Larsen Bryce have to say in response to that?
Larsen Bryce says, great question. It's my great imitation of you imitating me.
The worst imitation of me that I've heard since my wife tries to mock me most days.
That's your imitation of me. That's me imitating your imitation of me.
Imitation?
Yeah.
This is... thank you, Brock. My quote-unquote imitation is actually spot on. Yours is a shallow...
It's an immutation.
Oh, God damn it. I guess you're allowed dad jokes because you're dad, but that was awful.
There have been stories that explain how he gets them. I don't know that there's been a story. I mean, he'll talk about it in like random issues. What's that?
Did Neil Gaiman do anything at whatever happened to like Cape Crusader?
About like the trophies?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
What I love is that I think that the trophies are there. Okay, I could be totally wrong, which has never happened ever. But I feel like the trophies are there to remind the readers from the beginning, like, look how badass Batman has. Look at all these cool trophies he has. And it's supposed to like get to the reader, get across the sense of like, oh, what a badass. Like, how did he get these crazy things like a dinosaur and a giant penny? Like, this guy is a total badass.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But, like, as we head on to, 20 teens, like, psychology, which is a little different than it was in the 40s and 50s and 60s, maybe there's a better story to be told there. Because when I first saw it as a kid, I was like, it's got a giant dinosaur? How did that get there?
Yeah.
But now, as an adult, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy collecting all these trophies like a serial killer? Like, so I bet Tom King could do a great story about that.
Yeah. As from Jesus.
So you need to subtweet at Tom King about that question.
No, when you subtweet, that means you're just trying to be a jerk and you just don't want to tell the person to their face.
So just at him and say, hey, look at this one? Yeah.
As from Jesus, he's referencing an article that was going around, basically the counter to the article that I was in of saying, the comic industry is doomed. It's another one of these fucking articles.
Boom! The comic industry is doomed.
I don't remember where it was at. I don't even remember what
how many dollar industry is this?
He said, saw the article about comics and movies shows thriving, but not the books. Why is this? My friend takes his 3 boys to every Marvel movie, but won't take them into the shop near them in Castro Valley.
What?
He asks, why should he?
Doesn't or won't?
He says won't, but I don't know.
What's the shop in Castro Valley?
I don't know. He says, why should he? They're not necessary. Go into a comic store. Should I even call him a Marvel fan? Look, and this is what my response to all these articles have been. We're lucky if we get 0.5% of the people that go into the movies. That is just the way it's going to be. Asking the people that go see the movies and watch the TV shows, asking 2% or 3% or 1% to actually walk into a comic store it's just not gonna happen. I mean, this is just, you don't look at hockey and say, what can we do to hockey to make it as popular as soccer is in the world? It's just not going to be the same. I mean, everything can have its level. It could be very successful within itself. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be constantly growing, constantly the biggest thing ever, changing to suit this audience that is not there, that will never be there. Now, I love comic books. I want it to be as big as possible. Yeah. Shocking, I know. I want it to be as big as possible, but anyone that's chasing that audience, it's just not going to happen. So I don't know if comic book stores are failing because they're only drawing in 1% of the audience going to movies. To me, that's successful.
No, but that's not even what he's saying. He's saying, so what is his question? Like, should I even call him a Marvel fan? Or
well, he asked. He had the first question.
Actually, a comics fan? Because there's a big difference, by the way, between can't and won't go into a comic.
Well, and his first question is, why are why are the movies thriving and the books aren't? Well, and I think that's actually not true. I think the books are thriving. I think the books are doing great for what they are, right? But should he call him a Marvel fan? Call him a Marvel movie fan. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what the movies are. It doesn't matter how successful they are. The comic books are the source material, right?
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings.
You can be a Superman fan and never read a Superman comic,
right? You could be a fan of the character. You could be a fan of the movies, but there is. If you're not familiar with at least a little bit or into the source material, you're I wouldn't say you're limited. It's just a different type of fan, right? At this point I've watched way more episodes of Walking Dead than I've read of Walking Dead. I like Walking Dead. I would consider myself a fan of Walking Dead, but
you're a fake fan of Walking Dead.
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, if you're a hardcore comic fan and you hate the show, then I'm a fake fan, right?
Yeah,
but
that's very weird. I don't know why you would call your buddy a fake Marvel fan.
I mean, I would say he's a Marvel. Yeah, I'd say he's a Marvel movie fan or a Marvel, media
Cinematic
fan, not a comic fan, but yeah. I definitely understand the thought process.
What is your problem not introducing your kids to comics for at least reading purposes?
Yeah, I understand the thought process that some people have that why buy a comic book when the movies and TV shows are so good? But I think that's a false narrative. It doesn't matter if it's just an expansion of your interest. So it doesn't. You don't have to have one override the other or have one be better than the other. You can enjoy both. You can enjoy one. You can enjoy none of them, I guess. It doesn't matter, really. I just don't think...
I mean, a lot of people are Star Wars fans, but they never go and read a book or play a video game or read a comic.
The source material for Star Wars is the movies. And in Star Wars case, the movies will always be more popular. Right? For something like Lord of the Rings... As popular as the movies were, I'm going to assume the books have sold more copies than movie tickets.
Yeah.
I would... Over 100 years?
First of all, it has not been 100 years.
No,
Go fuck yourself. What are you crazy?
No, Tolkien wrote it.
It was like World War II.
World War II.
It's
like
getting
70.
there.
It's 70.
Yeah, when was Hobbit? We're coming on. It's getting close. Anyway, but yes, I have to, Harry Potter. The movies are insanely popular. The book may have outsold the movies as far as books sold.
Holy
tickets,
shit!
maybe?
The Hobbit was 1937.
Yeah. We're not 80 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But so there are times where the source material is the most popular.
Okay.
And in comic books, the source material is not the most popular.
There's a million questions. We've done this question to death. I mean, it sounds to me like this person either collects comics or he doesn't. Whether or not he does doesn't diminish the fact that he may or may not be a Marvel fan. He could be a Marvel Comics fan or a Marvel movie fan. Leave your friend alone. Don't be such a hater.
Yep. That's fun.
Pete. He may not even be a hater. I'm just saying, let's go.
But your friend as a parent should introduce your kids to reading, so...
No, but if parents don't want to get their kids into comic books, I disagree, but that's their call. That's fine.
It's not getting him into the comics per se. It's the reading part of it.
I just don't know why he's calling him a fake Marvel fan.
Pete says, I'm assuming most of you have been to San Diego Comic-Con at some point.
No.
Brock has not. You have not?
I've never been.
You've never been to Comic-Con.
But
I've only been once.
Absolutely love to go.
If our Patreons want to fund us...
The people that go all the time are the people that are not here, which is Toby and Charlie. So I will answer the remainder of this question. I've only been once. There you go. And it was probably the best week of my life as far as fandoms go. Do you have any highlights or lowlights from going? See, for me, and I've talked about this before, cons are interesting because I live this life. A con for me is just more work. It's just the same thing I do all the time.
Bigger fucking store.
Well, that's a little disingenuous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually no work at all.
Conventions? Even going as
what?
Going even just a customer, a comic convention will fucking destroy you. Something like Comic-Con,
what?
It is
How
a
so?
shit ton of work.
What?
You're on your feet 12, 14 hours. You're waiting in lines. You're going from panel to panel. You're going through a ton. I mean, it is a absolute ton of work.
So you're on an aggressive vacation. You're not working at all.
I need a break from Comic-Con when I go to Comic-Con.
Okay, is it work going to fucking Disneyland, Ryan?
It can be. It's a lot of...
So then we just have different definitions of work, and yours is worse.
You had me go to an image, like one of the first Image Expos.
Yeah.
And that was just that was just something that was,
Yeah.
it was small, but man, like being from the retail side of it, you're talking to creators, you're talking to fans, you're just constantly absorbing material or information and all this stuff. It's tiring.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not tiring. You just described it as work, and it's like, I guess I see what you're saying, but like, come on. You get to go to San Diego Comic-Con. That is an experience. That's not work.
Yeah. No, I had a ton of fun.
I've climbed Half Dome a couple times, and I would say that is fun, not work. But
it's a lot of work.
That it's a fucking
it's a workout.
It's a workout, indeed.
I said, do you have any highlights or lowlights from going? I mean, no lowlights, really. It's crazy as hell. The highlights was when, what's his face? I got a free ice cream from Seth Green. That was kind of funny. Did you know the story?
No, I would love to hear the story. Did he spill it on your shirt because he's a douche? Because I've only watched Entourage?
No, the truck rolls up and it's like, hey guys, free ice cream, cool. Oh, hey, it's Seth Green. He's giving out free ice cream, and we're like, it's like literally right as we're standing there, just pulls up next to us, and there's a line for free ice cream, and Seth Green's just handing out free ice cream. I'm like, all right.
So he's promoting
cool.
some
random
juvenile.
I have no idea what it
piece of
was.
shit.
Sure.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Right.
It's
kind of cool.
I was standing on the elevator or escalator next to one of the hobbits. I don't remember which one it was. The other guy. It's the guy from Lost. I'm blanking on his name. I can't remember his name.
Oh, the smackhead from Lost?
Yeah.
I don't know his real name.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm totally drawing blanking on his name.
Well, he's not Samuel Gamgee. Gamgee? He's either Pippin or Totoro.
Totoro?
I'm just kidding. I just wanted to say Totoro was one of the hobbits.
What?
You have the Hobbit up on your phone. You just looked it up.
Oh, you're right. It was either Pippin or it was...
It's the other guy. No, what the hell's his name? I cannot remember his name. It doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah, that was cool.
Pippin.
Saw some cool stuff with some couple cool panels. Yeah. I mean, it was cool. It's just, it's like every convention, just massive.
Like
crazy.
Insanely massive. Yeah.
Times infinity.
Yeah.
So I've never been. I would love to go. For much of my life, I couldn't be bothered, and then for other parts of my life, I was just. I'm very crowd averse. I hate standing in lines when I could just actually work for a living and then have the money to just buy it from my ass in front of my computer. So yeah, all the excitement and events though sound so compelling that I do want to go at some point in time.
Your ADD would kick into overdrive, and you'd be like, I don't know where to go. I don't know which way to go.
Well, right. That's why I'm kind of I mean, would it even be fun? I wouldn't like the fact that I feel compelled to stay up all night. Although, if I went with a good crew, if
I don't see you sitting at a panel for an hour and a half.
No, I would never do that though. Standing in line for several hours, I will pay somebody to stand in line for me. If I could do that all weekend, I would absolutely do that.
Well, now it's all raffle. I'll be curious to see how that works out this year. It's all raffle.
Is that a new thing?
Yeah.
To answer the question,
online raffle, I should say.
To quell the Hobbit question, it's Dominic Monaghan.
Yeah, thank you.
And he played Merry.
Yeah, he was.
Merry and Pippin. Oh, just on the tip of my tongue. What Sam said to.
You got a question here from
Christ.
You got that question from Final Fury K. If you wanna read it and answer it, it's about the X-Men. So whatever.
Wait, what?
It. I feel like
I don't have Twitter open.
It's stuff we've talked about 100 times, but I figure you would want to talk about it because X-Men. If I skip it, you'll get mad at me.
You just don't want to read an X-Men question out loud.
Jesus Christ! 19 notifications. Where do I even go?
Scroll down.
No, he's on his notifications.
Or sure.
Wait, who's it from?
Is there any good X-Men?
Funnel. Or is it Funnel?
Yeah. Final Fury K.
Final Fury K. Jesus.
Do you want to just read it?
Yeah, can you please read it? I can't.
It's 2 hours ago, yeah. Bryce, is there any good X-Men comics? I have Olive Gold, Blue.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I did see this.
Red and Astonishing, and a decent chunk of Weapon X. I bought 5 issues of Generation X, but I heard it was wretched, so I dropped it.
Well, before you start, Bryce, I think we have an episode where Bryce actually answers the entire thing, and there's probably a briefly too.
Let's talk about every. Then you talk about every every X-Men book, every episode of this podcast?
Yes, I would love to answer that in great detail. Is this it? No, it's not it.
I just read the question.
Yeah, but I wasn't paying attention. All right, let me tell you something about X-Men. The X-Men are unequivocally the greatest family in comics, greater than the Fantastic Four, confirmed, of all comics in any universe, okay? Now, the tricky part is...
Do you want a pillow?
They've been going through a little bit of a rebranding. Now, I should caveat this with... let's just say that I'm slightly behind in my X-Men reading. I'm going to get caught up. I'm currently living with my in-laws, which I expect more sympathy than anything from literally everybody, because living with your in-laws is about as much fun as it sounds. So I'm a little bit behind in my X-Men, my X-family reading, but I will say that the X-Men are no joke. The X-Men, you can't put them down. They emerged as the greatest story of their time, and then they went away. They had a couple of reprints, and then they reemerged almost as if a phoenix from the ashes to be the greatest, I guess, line in all of comics again. And then they went a little quiet, and then Jim Lee got on the title, and then they reemerged as the greatest line in comics again. There in the early 90s, and then they went away again, and then they emerged again with all of their Messiah Complex, that whole trilogy that was incredible. And so, anyway, the point is, you can't keep a good X-Men down, which is just how I like my X-Men. So, right now, the X-Men have the best cast of characters in their family that any comic universe or line would love to have. And they have positioned them in such great titles as X-Men Gold and Astonishing X-Men. And there are some good characters like Magneto in X-Men Blue. And X-Men Blue has been dealing with time-traveling shenanigans of the young X-Men, which I think started off great, and I'm not caught up. And then there's X-Men Gold, which was basically everything that I would have wanted from a title called Uncanny X-Men, including a classic set of X-Men characters, culminating in the marriage of longtime lovers, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, compatriots, teammates, whatever you want to call it. Kitty Pryde and Colossus. No spoilers for that, how that wedding turns out, but I will say that there is, well, okay, anyway, so since I already spoiled it on a different podcast, they do not get married, but a different couple gets married, and it is the greatest couple that you can think of. It is the greatest couple in all of comics, which is Aunt May and Dr. Octopus. Just kidding. It is Gambit and Rogue. So, Gambit and Rogue get married, thank God. And so, that solidifies X-Men Gold as the greatest X book currently on the market. However, the actual book with Professor X and a gentleman named the Shadow King... What's up?
I have no idea.
Okay. The Shadow King show up in Astonishing X-Men. Astonishing X-Men has been great, showcasing a different sort of a little X-Force light, but a little more aggressive than either the X-Men Gold or Blue books, so that's also great. And then there is the X-Men for everybody that likes happy, friendly things, which is X-Men Red. I've only read the first 2 issues of X-Men Red, and so there's a lot more to catch up on, and I'm sure that it's been great. But there's that. Upcoming, we have X-Men Black, which I can only hope is going to be a badass sort of return to... Let's talk a little bit about the more fringe and or aggressive characters in the X universe, aka when Magneto actually had some teeth to the character, was a little bit more of a badass. I mean, I still like him as a good guy. He's just, not the Magneto that everybody falls in love with. I think that it's very easy. There must be a literary name for this phenomenon when it must be very easy to... You have a really good villain, and then you make them a good guy, and then it's like, oh, what a great character they are, because they had this whole, character arc where they started as a bad guy and went through their trials and tribulations and ended up a good guy on the other end. I'm not sure what the name of that phenomenon is, but I am sure that it exists, and I expect Joshua Redding and or his old lady to help us out answering that. But anyway, X-Men is the best, and you should read all X-Men all the time. The greatest book currently being written and has ever been written about the X-Men is a little book called Cable, because I'm the number one Cable fan in disguise.
I mean, the current Cable book, do you guys really liking it? Or I know Charlie's.
Of course I'm liking it.
Oh, okay.
It's the best. It's the best book on the shelves.
God, the lying look on your face.
I do look at the line.
And not to mention, you just rambled on a great synopsis of how excellent the X-Men is, but you didn't actually answer the question.
Can you repeat the question? I would be happy to answer it much more succinctly now that I've given a thesis on the X universe.
Yeah, well, he answers the question. Is there any good X-Men? Yeah. He has all the current stuff.
No, he was talking about the current stuff. He's like, is it good X-Men?
Yeah, and he answered that. Except
Yeah.
Generation X. I heard that was terrible. You didn't. Did you
I
pick that
forgot
up?
he asked about Generation X. Generation X, I have read. It is fucking not even hot garbage. It is cold garbage. I'm not sure which is worse, but it's tepid garbage. It is the worst of both worlds.
It's the thing that Sugar Man deals with.
The Sugar Man's awesome. But if you want good X-Men, go to X-Men Gold and go to Astonishing X-Men. But I will tell you that you should buy Cable before either of those. And I also will tell you that you should save your money and not buy any X-Men right now if money is a factor. Because you should buy all of the Extermination stuff coming up. Because that is going to be what I'm putting all my hopes on for the summer X-Men stuff.
I have a big email here from Michael. I'm going to read this.
Holy shit, we're doing an email.
Yeah, it's a good email. It's from Michael. It says, as usual, I enjoyed the show regarding Batman number 50. That said, I do understand Bryce's point about a rift between a parent and a child being more devastating than a lost fiancé.
Yeah.
And logically, it seems that's how it should be.
Yeah.
But far too often, this is not the case. As a marriage and family therapist, I routinely see individuals put more value in their romantic relationships than their children. Sad but too true. Yes, Batman loves his children, but children in quotes, but he has often lied to them and withheld information for his own purposes without regard to their feelings. In stories, he is often portrayed as someone who has remained guarded in many ways and thus would likely maintain some amount of emotional detachment to prevent showing weakness or experiencing more loss. He is usually portrayed as someone who feels they know best and can take care of himself if needed. While he cares for the kids, he usually doesn't see them as necessary. It's more like he's doing them a favor by teaching them useful skills. Well, with Catwoman, he let his guard down completely and was willing to actually need someone else.
That's where I disagree with him.
Her leaving could have devastating repercussions for someone who had trust and abandonment issues, someone who has formed an emotional shell to protect himself against feeling of loss and other emotional pain. That said, I am no way attempting to diagnose Batman. I'm just making some greatly oversimplified observations as a fan of the comics and the show who happen to have as a fan of the comics and of the show who happens to have some real life exposures to unhealthy relationships. Many people much smarter than I have written extensively about Batman's pathology, some of which were interesting, so check them out for more in-depth analysis.
Michael, that was phenomenal. Thank you very much.
Hold on.
Disagree that he opened up to Catwoman.
Let me read his.
Did you not read War of Jokes and Riddles?
I have one more thing. To read. Then you can have your response, and then I have the continue of his email. He says, "So in this instance, I feel Bryce's view of the situation is flawed. However, as an attempt to redeem myself, I must agree that Batman is California."
Michael is obviously very handsome. And
now he does have another series of questions, but you can reply
probably
first.
quite fit and well put together, physically as obviously well as mentally and emotionally. Yeah, Michael, I appreciate the fair juxtaposition to my accurate statements, but I will say that I just don't think that he actually opened himself up to Catwoman. I think that we have decades of him opening himself up to Alfred and his crew, such as they are.
He does
much more so than Catwoman, which like that opening up, you can argue has been going on for all time, but I totally disagree. But really ramped up with the Tom King run for the purposes of Tom King's own story, which is totally fair play.
Every third Batman story arc has been, I have to do this. I can't trust Robin. I can't trust Nightwing. I can't trust Batgirl. This is just me. And they're like, no, Batman, let us in. And he finally breaks down and lets him in. They save the day. And he's like, I should have done it.
Exactly. And then
3 arcs later, it's just the new writer does this. So
that's exactly what I'm saying.
They've very rarely dealt with Batman's physical relationships. Silver St. Cloud back in the day, very rarely have they dealt with his physical relationships. Talia, a little bit.
Okay, look. I don't think this is too inside baseball, but I don't think that physical relationships for men are the same thing as. In fact, I would even say, okay, this is going to be a thinking out loud hypothesis. So you can quote me on every word, but while every word may be wise, not every word I may agree with myself next week if you followed that. Physical relationships fucking mean nothing to men. I mean,
that's a shocking generalization there.
I mean, like, of course they mean something, but not nearly as much as emotional relationships, which he's had with his like Bat crew for much more significantly and longer than his boys.
He has an emotional relationship with her too. I mean, the Tom King arc is basically like they fell in love the first time they met each other.
Yes, and that has never been so like. And by the way, but as much illustrated.
The eyes.
Pardon me?
The eyes.
Yeah, no. So, Tom King, stop looking at my eyes.
Stop looking at my human eyes. Leanne will get that.
Okay, I'm glad she will. So, anyway, I have been totally thrown off, other than to say that, I think that Tom King has illustrated very well, like within the past year, how they've been eternally hung up on each other for several decades. But that wasn't ever illustrated until this arc. And his relationship with his wards has been illustrated by every writer for several decades. And so I'm just saying, how is this relationship with them like not as strong as her? Because kind of retcons this relationship. Like, I know that they've like I acknowledge that they've had a will there. Hey, by the way, I fucking totally ship Catwoman and Batman. I totally do.
You have to get rid of the idea that they've had these relationships for decades, because that doesn't work, right? Batman and Nightwing at most have been 10 years, right? Batman and Tim Drake has been a couple years. Right, Damian has been a few years.
You can't just say that and like erase that from the reader's mind, though. You can't just like, I mean,
no. I mean, if you're taking these characters, if you take this relationship if you take his relationship with Robin, then you have to take the relationship with Catwoman has gone on since her very first appearance, right?
Look, all I'm saying is that he's had this relationship with his wards for fucking decades in the reader's mind, and like. They've had this will they or won't they with Catwoman and Batman for a long time. Forever. For so long. My whole childhood I've been shipping them. Yeah. As much as you're going to ship Batman with anybody. But I just, them breaking up is like, I hear what Michael's saying. I'm just not sure that, he's going to keep is the argument that he's going to keep his guard up against his wards despite the emotional connection, but he's not going to keep his guard up against Catwoman? Like, what? If anything, she's way more fucking shady than any of his wards are. So why wouldn't he, like, he's a fucking smart dude. Why wouldn't he keep his, like, guard up against them?
No.
So, look, I'm not throwing shade at the story. I love the story. I'm just like Batman 50 was really, really good. I'm not taking anything away. I'm not trying to take anything away from that. I'm just saying that it is bullshit to like. It's almost like retconning it. Like, oh no, all of a sudden Catwoman's more important than any of the other dudes are, and therefore this wrecks Batman. And that issue 100 might come along, and this could have been a whole red herring, and it's not even a factor.
Yeah.
But for people to get their panties in a bunch about the fact that the marriage was spoiled and that Bane has this master plan because he's ruining his wedding. No. Well, fucking Bane can go fucking, I don't even know, do something lame because that's a lame.
Actually, someone
revenge plan.
Someone had a funny line. They said, well, technically there was a wedding. There just wasn't a marriage. I'm like, yeah, I guess that's true. Michael continues. Now on to the X-Men.
Contradict everything I just... Oh, dear.
Now on to the X-Men.
Uh-oh.
Age of Apocalypse ranks as one of my favorite comic stories.
Oh, God. Can you get more handsome?
That said, I also think it was one of the most damaging to the X-Men.
Okay, I disagree, but keep going.
Since Age of Apocalypse, there's been a huge influx of alternative versions of various X-Men, sometimes multiple versions of the same characters, to the point I occasionally have gotten confused about which version I'm reading about. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about this?
Can you name one?
Do you believe it is done to avoid the creation of new characters so that Marvel doesn't have to give the creator credit, so creators can save their ideas for creator-owned projects?
Yeah, it's absolutely a crutch. I wouldn't say it's a total cop-out, but it's absolutely a crutch.
That they're out of ideas for new characters because almost anything they could have come up with would be the rip-off of something else, and pretty much all the good names have been copyrighted.
Well, let's establish that, like...
No. They've created a shitload of new characters in the last 20 years at Marvel, especially the X-Men, all the X-Kids, all the Grant Morrison's characters that he created, all the X what was like the newer mutant characters.
Hell, they made new Inhumans.
Yeah, I'm talking like X-Men specific.
I know.
You know what I mean? They have made all the new X-Men characters, all the new generation X characters.
Like Beak?
Sure. I mean, Quentin Quire, right? I mean, top Quentin Quire and Dupe,
Angel,
top 3 Marvel characters of all time.
Well, that may or may not be true.
Dead Girl.
Yeah, I mean, all the Ecstatics. Sure. So I mean, it's not like they can't make new characters, but I think
that's exactly what I mean by it's a crutch. They don't need it. It's just harder work to come up with new characters than it is to just be like, I mean, look what DC did with Metal. They're like, oh, you know what sells? Batman. Why don't we do the Justice League of Batman? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That is the biggest joke.
Mashup characters and alternative versions of characters are super popular.
Right.
Yeah, and I love them, right? I mean, I love Bizarro characters, reverse characters.
Yeah, everybody loves them. I love Batman as
the
Justice League in Metal. Like, yeah. Especially, and then making them villains. Like, what?
Yep.
I'm just curious which Wolverine we're getting back.
I'm assuming Wolverine. But right.
Can you finish your question?
We have X-23. We have Old Man Logan. All right. So, no, that was his question. But, because why do you think there's so many alternate versions of X-Men characters?
Oh, it's
just because of the time travel. Because it's easy.
Because
but like I said,
these people are people behind a job that have lives that want to get paid, and so they're like, hey boss, I know that I have a quota of 1 new character per month, and
you could spend
my new character for the next 6 weeks.
You could spend weeks or months trying to come up with a cool new character and a name and a backstory. You'd just be like, Frank Castle in space, Cosmic Ghost Rider, ship it, and just done, right?
Exactly. How much do I love you right now? That's exactly how it is.
Yeah, he said the what if story earlier. Ant-Man, Doc Ock.
That wasn't a what if. That actually happened, bro.
Oh, was this?
That was
when Aunt May married Doc Ock.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they did.
I think he said Ant-Man.
No, it was what if.
He said Aunt May.
Oh, I thought he said
and it
Ant-Man.
wasn't a what if.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the copy. Well, she was trying.
I know it got ruined.
She was trying to marry
Otto Octavius.
Otto Octavius, not Doc Ock.
Well,
yeah.
Call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, it's because these people are actual human beings that create this, and they have lives, and they want to go to happy hour, and they want to just get done with work.
Yeah, I'm sure if you go back,
some writers are actually good, and some are just there to get a paycheck. And just like Higgins did, exactly like Higgins said, you can think of an original character, or you can say Ghost Rider in space.
And if you go back to Stan Lee in the '60s, I'm sure he's just sitting there. He's like, Spider Man, Man, Iron Man.
Yeah. Totally.
Looking around the office.
He's flipping
fidget spinner man.
He's flipping through a dictionary going.
They were in some Marvel Comics was Timely Comics at the time. It was a fucking in like a warehouse.
Yeah.
He literally saw a spider and an ant.
I'm sure.
He was spider. I know. I'm also joking.
No. You're probably not. This is the thing. I'm sure
they were in some apartment in fucking Manhattan,
and
they were looking around the room, and he was like,
fucking print it.
Yeah.
It's a job.
We see some
push this stuff out.
Swedish tourist. Okay, Thor. Okay, that's easy.
Yeah. So,
Got out the
that's
dictionary, just started reading words, and then putting man or woman after
Well, and
it.
you have guys like Alan Moore that write these tomes of stuff about their comics. The comics, the scripts are longer than the comics, right? I mean, so you obviously have people that are very invested in this, but for a lot of these guys, especially the work for hire, they're there to write the characters they know. They're there for a paycheck, and they love it, right?
It's a dartboard with ideas.
I doubt. Yeah. I mean, there's so many other jobs out there, and there's so many other things these people could be doing. People aren't coming.
Though?
Well, I don't think they're coming here. I don't think they're working at Marvel and DC for the giant paycheck off the bat.
No, but
right?
that's what I'm saying. Is that they get all these it's like how the English Premier League signs these kids at literally 12 years old is because they can sign them for nothing, and if they get 1 million of them, if 1% of them are going to be good, then they'll get the next, Harry Kane or in France's case, Kylian Mbappe. It's just about casting the net as wide as possible.
Yeah,
and then when you throw adjectives in there, oh man.
Well, and we have we have different versions of characters.
And colors.
You have Iron Man with all his different costumes. You have different variations, and there's definitely a part of this where they're like, we need a new costume. We have to sell more action figures, and we need a new design. We're going to redo this stuff. Doesn't matter if they just got their Superman got his trunks back. We get to have electric blue Superman. You know what I mean, right? Something like that. Where that element is also in there, and that's a whole new point, a selling point for these books. And there isn't a narrative change. It's just like how this design costume
I've recently been doing Avengers back issues here at the shop, and it's like the composite Avenger.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's literally a Frankenstein of different Avenger parts.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a Ultra Humanoid? Wasn't that him?
There's a bunch
different
of
characters.
Oh, okay.
Composite Batman, Composite Superman's one of my favorite characters.
It's Composite Batman.
Composite Superman.
Composite Batman.
There's probably both. Let's just put your dicks away.
Here's a good question. Not a question I like to think about.
Wait,
because
so you said Michael had some questions. That was his one
it.
question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good job, Michael. Michael, you're very handsome.
Let's wrap this up. This is from Leonardo. Now, long-time listeners of especially the Geekbox will know that I've had a fire at my old apartment, and we did lose a significant amount of stuff. So
You've said it on this podcast plenty of times.
Yeah,
bro.
so this question is something I've actually thought about before. He says, "It's comic store is on fire and sans any money. What's the one thing you save from the store?"
The long box of Uncanny X-Men. I'm out of here.
You grab the U right here, the box sitting behind me.
Yeah.
What if it was up here in the hard bin that you can't take out?
I would literally, if there's a fire, the adrenaline would carry me through, and I would fucking Hulk that shit, and I would carry those 5 long boxes, and I would be like, must save the Uncanny X-Men. How bummed would I be, though, if I grabbed the U section, and then I ran out of the store, and the fire burned the place down, and it was...
Ultimates.
Oh, just stole my joke. Fuck you. It was a decent joke, not a dad joke.
I mean, anything of...
You're a dad.
With only a couple things, anything of real significance or importance is in my house. I don't have it here. So the one thing that I absolutely would grab is I have a piece of art from All-Star Superman and signed by Graham Morrison and Frank Whiteley. And we have that frame. We have a bunch of frame stuff at the front. But that is the one that I would grab. I would grab that one. That's my favorite piece.
Wow. That is the one thing?
Of all the stuff that we have here,
that if you sent Morrison and Quietly a note and was like, guys, my store burned down.
All the products... Maybe I would grab my hard drive so I could. I grab the computer so I can.
That's obviously less sexy an answer.
Yeah,
your answer was much sexier. But I'm saying, realistically, those guys would do you a solid and they would replace it for you.
Well,
is there anything that's irreplaceable?
They can't replace.
The page. It's
the original page.
True, but they'd get you some different original art.
The only thing replaceable would be a lot of that stuff's backed up, so I guess it wouldn't be irreplaceable. But I'm
just wondering, is there anything that is irreplaceable? You're right. The hard drive's backed up. They could get you new original art, but not really. So that might be your answer.
Yeah.
So it'd be the original art or the sign in the bathroom.
Whatever. I'm not. I don't.
You're gonna run to the bathroom and grab something.
You gotta splash water on you to get out.
Ew.
It's so gross.
But it's so good.
All right. That's it.
We're not gonna get any Gators question?
Bryce yelled at him already.
Indicator's a troll.
I think he's asked this question 6 times, hasn't he?
Dude, did you read my reply?
Yeah.
I said 7, and then I put a 1 in front of it because I thought it was hilarious.
The best part? You guys now have to read what the question was.
Nope.
He asked about comic binding. I'm not crazy, right? We've answered this question from him multiple
swear to God,
times.
we've answered it multiple times.
Craig, what's up? Are you just trolling us?
See, this is why you need to tag the stuff on previous episodes.
Craig, put your pint glass down. Ask us a real question.
So I'm actually in the process of finishing up my. I took a bunch of the unread stuff. I went out to my garage. I moved a few things around. I now have to take the binding projects that I'm probably not going to end up doing, and then my unread stuff and all my big collection of eventual to reads and finish up. I need to actually merge this all together into one nice big collection. So yeah, I definitely need to do that soon. Oh, comic binding. I like you, but it was difficult and expensive.
I mean, talk about a job when you're talking about going to Comic-Con. Like, comic binding is a job. I mean,
you went crazy, but you did your big run. I did a lot. Staggering amount of X-Men.
Staggering amount of X-Men. And I bound so much
Where did you end?
that is now on your wall.
Where did you end? Do you remember how far you got?
I don't know. The Messiah Complex-ish era.
Well, that's fine. I mean, you did
fucking hundreds and hundreds.
Giant size.
Hundreds.
You didn't bind giant size, but you bound.
No. For the expensive stuff that was expensive at the time, I bound copies of
classic
X-Men.
X-Men.
Reprints of.
You did the Masterworks. You just ripped the covers off.
No,
that sounds familiar. I did a couple of Masterworks, but I did some graphic novels. For the expensive stuff, I did graphic novels, and I would get it from fucking eBay, and I would get it for $10 or $12, those 6 issues, and then I would just rip the cover, front and back cover off, and I would just put it in the middle of it. Yeah. Or more often the front of the back. But
it's the mapping that's the hardest part of that.
Oh, yeah.
The mapping is tough. And also, just packaging it up and sending it off and getting the right fucking logos on it and whatnot. Yeah. Now we've actually answered this question. Douchebags.
It's to get us talking.
Yeah,
that's it. Comic-Con is weekend. We'll have I'm sure, a gigantic episode.
You'll be on Twitter retweeting stuff, so just follow you.
Aquaman trailer on Saturday. Check out for that shit. And
do we get to talk about the poster?
Which one? Aquaman poster?
Aquaman poster.
That's good. I like it.
You did?
Yeah.
What was that face that you did on Facebook? The GIF you did of that weird face. Is that a good face or a bad face?
That jizz in my pants face?
Oh.
That's jizz in my pants.
Thank you for seeing that. That's weird.
It's a Lonely Island. Yeah.
I'm familiar with Andy Samberg and that he's a part of the Lonely Island. I didn't know that was that face.
Yeah.
That face by itself looks like he's disgusted.
Well...
But you're saying that the GIF is that he's extremely excited.
Yes.
Because he's jizzing in his pants.
Yeah.
No.
At any moment.
I literally just said I understand now.
But you don't. How did you not understand before?
Because the face, if you don't know the backstory, that face looks like he's disgusted.
But I thought you knew the backstory.
Why did you think that I just said just now that
but
I don't understand the backstory?
But you said you knew who he was from Lonely Island.
That's all I understood, though.
Yeah. Why don't you go put your dick in a box?
But yes.
Dear God.
No, super sad. And hopefully Shazam, possibly some Wonder Woman 2 footage, Titans trailer.
Okay, so Zack Snyder is not directing anything going forward.
Nope.
So
where he's at Comic-Con, I mean, he's still a producer on a lot of this stuff. He's still involved, but no, he's not directing anything.
So there is hope.
I would hope so. Yeah, I mean,
Superman 2, a.k.a. Hope Man.
We'll see.
Is there supposed to be a Superman 2?
I mean, they've talked about it for years.
Man of Steel 2.
Yeah, not official yet, but...
What about Justice League 2? Has that been greenlit?
I mean, there's all sorts of stuff in the works, but
it's like how it always is, where there's always 20,000 movies like planned, and then 2 get made.
The list right now is Aquaman, Shazam, Wonder Woman 2.
Yeah.
Those have either filmed or are, when Wonder Woman 2 cases, still filming.
Yeah.
For Marvel, there is Avengers 4. That is it. There is Captain Marvel, obviously. Captain Marvel coming out.
There's Guardians
Avengers
3.
Nothing has started filming. Nothing is in any sort of production. I mean, things are obviously in pre-production stuff right now.
Guardians 3 is, but it's
nothing. Guardians 3 is not filming. Spider-Man's not filming. Black Panther's not filming. All this stuff is going to happen, obviously, but nothing has been announced. Dates officially past Avengers 4. Nothing has been announced officially. Dates and started filming for anything past
Wonder Woman 2.
Wonder Woman 2. That is it.
Interesting.
So, yeah. Now, obviously, a shitload of movies are in the works, but
Right.
Both Marvel and DC seem to be kind of like, maybe we overextended a little bit, but let's pull it back and keep it a little close to the collar. You know,
Kinda, kind of 3 at a time.
Okay, as a man that loves humor in comic book movies, he said with a knowing look at Mr. Higgins.
Hopefully you'll love Captain Marvel.
How are we excited about the Shazam movie, about this juvenile Superman?
I mean, it should be...
Which is, by the way, Captain Marvel. I mean, I'm not throwing 100% shade. I'm just saying that, like, I imagine a lot of millennial jokes in Shazam, and I imagine Higgins for it to be one of his top 3 movies of the year.
They
I
said,
just want a Big reference.
Yeah, well, right. They said no surprise that Big was a very big influence on this movie. And I love Big. Big's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, Big's a great movie.
It's not a superhero movie.
No, it's not. So I assume there will be jokes. Captain Marvel is a lighthearted character. He's always lent himself to that. So going in, that's fine. That's the character, you know. I know Aquaman, they said they're definitely trying to lighten it up a little bit.
Are they going to call him Captain Marvel?
No, Shazam. Sorry. It just he'll be Captain Marvel.
Those two movies are going to come out in the same year, which is like a decade ago. If you could have told us that Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel, different comic companies, are coming out in the same year, a decade from now, we'd be like, go fuck yourself. That's
you would have
crazy.
Shazammed in your pants.
The directors,
Probably,
directors need to have something where the two actors like walk by each other and are kind of like, and then just keep walking like the other direction.
That's
like,
too good. They don't deserve it.
Cameo in each other's movie or something.
That the comic book industry deserves, but you know,
But won't get.
We'll never get.
Yeah,
we'll never get.
Yeah. So,
But so when he makes his like Snapchat joke, are you going to be like jizzing in your pants, or are you going to be like, Leanne, we got to go?
gritting my teeth.
You're like,
You know what?
still top 3 movie of the year.
It's only an A.
You know what? You know what's going to be flashing through his head is all those selfie variant covers that DC did that one month.
Oh, it's terrible.
They were bad.
I don't even know about this, but I just
Aquaman, though.
dislike DC.
Oh, boy, Aquaman's going to be amazing.
Okay, so I have a
If they have Johns' humor from his New 52,
John's run of Aquaman is the basis for this. The John's run of Shazam is the basis for Shazam. So,
yeah, okay. But real talk. So Aquaman. In the poster, he looks like he's completely dry on a rock with the ocean background.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he wears pants. He wears a leather pants underwater.
First question was, is he wearing leather pants underwater?
Yes.
It looks like he is.
Yep, they already said yes. Because who fucking cares?
Well, it makes sense that they're very sleek. So second question is the whole movie going to take place with like underwater with like big air bubbles that he forms in Justice League?
No, so they said fuck that. No, the air bubble thing is gone. No, they just talk underwater.
So I guess I'm just not clear because I haven't followed any of what they've been saying about how it's going to actually work. Are they going to, like, I'm talking to you, but we're all underwater and we just talk normally?
Yeah, and that's how
and just
Aquaman works.
ignore physics?
Yeah, that's how Aquaman works. That's how all Atlanteans work.
Okay.
They live underwater. I mean, what else?
this could open up for Neymar.
You can't say what else as if I have the answer. I mean, Aquaman defies logic. That's
Right.
like the appeal of him.
Yeah.
Like, how do you
I
make
just
a
wanna
movie
see
of him? I don't know.
How do you make a
because
movie
it's-
where Superman flies? I mean, it's just, you just accept it. Or if you can't accept that
you
Aquaman
don't-
talks
Okay.
underwater, then I mean, I don't.
If there is not a
Don't go see the
giant
movie.
I'm not saying
fucking
that-
seahorse in this that he rides for like 2
that'd be
seconds,
great.
100% he writes this. It's too good of an opportunity to turn down. I'm just saying that I don't know how they like make, because nowadays, so a while ago it would have been easy, all of Aqua, like when movies were more campy.
Yeah.
But nowadays they all have to be more realistic.
He just talks. I mean, they don't need to explain it. He's just fucking Aquaman. He just talks underwater.
They're just
Like, who
gonna
cares?
probably do some computer generated stuff to make it appear as if they're underwater.
No, they actually put them all underwater and left them under there for days.
They're like, good luck, motherfucker. Good luck, motherfucker.
Hey, these actors spent months training to hold their breath underwater.
I'm
and
just
talk.
saying it'll be interesting to see how it goes because you like
If they focus on it, it just makes it goofy. Just do it. Like nobody
just do
cares.
nobody cares.
No, nobody
Just
cares.
like the
Hopefully, he grows a beard real fast.
Avatar sequel. Who grows a beard? Jason Momoa?
Yeah,
Does he not have a beard?
He's got a beard.
Yeah,
I'm
what are
saying
you talking
hopefully
about?
it grows really fast.
What?
Never mind.
Nah, I don't get it.
Okay. Anyway, no. I mean, like, look, they're not directed by Zack Snyder. I have no bias against them. I absolutely loved Wonder Woman. Every DC movie not directed by Zack Snyder, not including Suicide Squad, I've loved. I've absolutely
one.
No, but my point is that, like, I have the capacity to love DC movies that aren't directed by Zack Snyder.
Robin?
I just thought that... What?
You even love Batman and Robin?
DCU.
Oh, I mean the ones made since the turn of the fucking century. Like, what the fuck kind of question is that?
Well, you didn't specify, so I was just asking.
Thanks, that was a good question. So
Because Catwoman's in that list too.
Oh, that gem. So anyway, I'm just curious as to how they pulled this off. I mean, functionally, this is going to be like Wonder Woman 2 can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Shazam, I think that like I'm very excited to see how you deal with all like the Snapchat and Twitter humor in the movie and still say that it's a top 3 movie and an A. But meanwhile, you can't stand Thor 3. But Aquaman, I'm not.
How about this? If there's a shake weight in Shazam, A-.
A-. It only goes down to an A-.
That's the joke.
It goes down further for me, but we all know that.
That's why it's the joke, though, is because like for everybody else, it goes down way further.
Each of you do.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm just saying that it just seems like functionally it'll be so much harder to pull off.
Yeah.
I obviously hope they do. Jason Momoa is the biggest fucking badass that there is. I just don't know how this works out, and I'm excited to be wrong. I think that I will like Shazam way more than you. Actually, no, it's a DC movie, so you like it more than me by default. And Wonder Woman 2, I'm very much looking forward to. Wait, so Wonder Woman 2 is like a flashback movie?
Well, 80s.
It's in the 80s.
So, yes.
I mean,
Bryce, you're right, as always. Hashtag Bryce is right.
Further ahead than the first one. First one was in the 20s.
Oh, I meant compared to
Teens?
Justice League.
No, teens.
But
yeah.
World War
flashback,
One.
Yeah, World War One. Yeah.
Yeah. But compared to Justice League, it's like they're just working her through time. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm excited about all these. I mean, not sarcastically. Like, there's no Zack Snyder stuff. Like,
Yeah. No. Yeah.
there's no super dark DC movies on the horizon. I'm excited.
I think we're gonna get a pretty good.
Are they all? Like, are they doubling down on this whole extended universe? Are they sticking with the same thing?
Yeah. I mean, these are all in the universe. Birds of Prey, Green Lantern Corps,
What?
Flash,
Green Lantern Corps?
Batman.
Are they
Yeah, that's the
still-
one that
Are they
Jeff
still doing
Johns.
Flash?
Are they still thinking of doing Cyborg?
I don't think so. Green Lantern Corps. That's the one Jeff Johns is writing. That's the one he's writing the script for with
shit.
this new production company. So
That is awesome.
yeah. It's Hal and John Stewart.
Do we know who Hal is? Please tell
No.
me it's Ryan Reynolds.
I legitimately would love to see Ryan Reynolds back. I think he was great. I mean, he wouldn't do it, but
Right, he would not do it. Did you see Deadpool 2?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Finally.
Anyway, yeah. I mean, like, I'm not sarcastically looking forward to good DC movies.
Yep.
Like, seriously.
Yeah, me too. All right, that's it. We're going to wrap up. Hope you guys have fun at Comic-Con if you're going. We'll have a nice big episode. Yeah, lots of stuff to talk about next week. Please check out all our good high-tier backers on Patreon. A bunch of them have stuff we'd like to promote here real quick. So Julian Titus, our good friend at the Nerds Without Pants podcast at pixelbit.com.
No pants.
Go check out that podcast. Ryan Hess has Blowhards, which is a video game podcast at blowhards.libsyn.com. Don't forget to check out Jody Lawson's Canon, the Triad Comics Anthology at TriadComicsStudios.com. And Larry Davis has the Stand and Deliver podcast. It's a podcast about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. All these you can find on iTunes and your favorite podcast apps. Sam Che, Craig Anderson, Joe Duff, Andrew Nelson Mendez, and Darfox 8 over at Manga Machinations. You can listen to all those. You can listen to that as well. Manga Machinations. It's a good podcast if you like manga. It's ComicSpiracyPodcast.com. That site is up. All our episodes are on there. What is also up is YouTube.com/ComicsConspiracy. That's comics with an S. This is the name of the store. This is our new YouTube channel. We are in the process of updating all the podcasts are going up, the audio. We're at like 270, 280 as of this recording, something like that. So by the end of this week, I think I'll have them all up. So they're all in there to listen to if you want to go back and check out those old episodes. On the Facebook group, I did actually put up a list of, I went through the first like 50 or 60. I put up kind of some famous first appearances. The first appearance of Toby and Bryce, and special episodes are like our recap of every New 52 #1, the two-parter we did for that, like 5-hour podcast we did. where we talked about every New 52 #1.
I completely forgot anything on that podcast.
Our first movie review, me and Brock reviewed Green Lantern.
No
So
way.
there you go. That's our first movie review.
That is a
and
gem.
his review was gleaming, and mine was
Oh, yeah,
a
and he hated
stinking
it.
pile of shit.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that the very first movie review was Green Lantern.
DC.
Green Lantern? They created a new ring in that movie, the brown ring.
No. So
Did you? Okay. How long have you been waiting to repurpose that joke?
No, I've used that joke ever since I walked out of that movie.
I'm not sure that's helping your.
please go to youtube.com/comicsconspiracy. You can subscribe on there. And we're going to move over some of the other videos, the couple other videos we had. Maybe someone else will get us some other videos eventually someday to put up, but I will probably also be doing some material
totally
as well.
aiming that at that 5% guy.
Yeah, I'm going to, I actually want to do a couple little video things, maybe for Patreon first, then on YouTube. So we'll get those up. Geekbox.net if you want to listen to the other episodes in iTunes as well. That always helps. The Comic Conspiracy, Geekbox.net .net if you want to send us a nice long email like Michael. Patreon.com/comic conspiracy. No S on that one. The store
That's
is
not confusing.
The store is Comics Conspiracy. The podcast is The Comic Conspiracy.
Yeah, not confusing at all.
There's just an S. The store is an S.
Sometimes.
It's either a
Sometimes
the
why.
and no S, or a no the
But to
and an
email-
S.
In this case,
To
it's
email
no the and no S. So
To email the podcast, even though the store is comics, the email is.
well,
Wait, the email has an S, but the
for
podcast does not have an
for
S.
the podcast
Yeah.
email.
Yeah.
You can do the Comic Conspiracy, the name of the podcast, at
Okay.
geekbox.net.
Not to be confused with the store email, which is.
You can also email just info at comicsconspiracy.biz, B-I-Z, because we don't have the .com.
When are you going to pull your.
We don't own it. I can't.
I was going to say, when are you going to pull your head out of your ass and buy the .com domain?
It's someone has it.
Isn't
We
it-
can't-
Somebody's
Isn't that
squatting.
that
There's
store?
there's no
It's
way.
that store on the East Coast.
No. So the original owner, Doug, had comicsconspiracy.com was his site for his publishing company, right? This is fucking forever ago, 20 years ago, right? So he passed away. That site just was abandoned. We never had access to it. When we did the store site, we were like, well, we'll do .biz, then we'll take .com and just transfer it over, right? We never got access to it, and when it went up, someone squatted on it. It's never been. I mean, it's the same squatting page as it's been for like 15 years.
How has GoDaddy or whoever controls these motherfuckers not turned this into some sort of bidding system?
You could like buy the site name or
Well,
something.
it's like
I
the
never
whole like squatting on a domain.
I check on it every now and again, and it's just
It seems fucking. It seems archaic. It seems backwards.
I mean, you just register it, right? There's nothing to register, right? I mean, it's
Right,
so
but what I'm
cheap.
saying
It's like-
is that old boy
10, 15
comicsconspiracy.com is
Yeah.
probably paying $5 or $10 a year, right? Like,
I pay like $10 a year for conspiracy.
yeah. So right now, it's a bunch
plug.
of links to. What even have? It's a bunch of links to ads to buy comic books. From this webpage was generated by the domain owner using pseudo domain parking. So it's a bunch
it's literally a troll.
it's just an ad.
They're parking on the site waiting for somebody
and
to.
it's just a bunch of ad links.
They're
Like, that's
waiting.
all it is.
They're waiting for somebody to go. I want to contact you about buying this.
can you imagine how much money this Joker has made because of your store? That people
probably.
people just misspell it.
Yeah, probably.
I'm serious.
Sure. Yeah, I've done right. Yeah. I mean,
So what I'm saying is that's what I'm saying. I wish that there was some sort of monetization method GoDaddy or whomever could go through to be like, yeah, it's going to go to, it's going to be sold in a different capacity.
yeah. Well,
They put a value on it.
comicsconspiracy.biz.
When I go
us.
to renew, I get like a value sticker for what my URL is worth or
I
domain
cannot
is
wait
worth.
to hear how much your URL is worth.
Nothing.
Okay.
But the thing is like it's based on
unsatisfying.
it's based on like how much traffic you had and all this stuff.
That URL would be that URL would be conspiratorbrock.com. Mm-hmm. Also, the Wanderers of the Fourth Dimension podcast. That's Charlie's Doctor Who podcast. Go check that out. Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art. That is Leanne's, my wife. That's her website for all her art. You can go pick some stuff up from her there. Also, digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. That's where you can pick up all your digital comics. We're on Twitter, Ryan Higgins Ryan, Brock is Brock Sager, Larsen Bryce, that's Bryce Larsen. Now, if you want to get a hold of Toby at Comic-Con, you can tweet him at TobyXI, but he probably won't respond. Charlie might at Insanity and Chaos. Of course, the store is Comics Con
He's just as likely to as Toby will.
Yeah, well, I mean, Charlie uses it a little bit more regularly.
Most people are super busy working.
They work too. Geekbox, Comedy Button, Manga Machinations, and the Infinite Binge on YouTube. Those are other things that people that we know do. You should check those out. Thank you, guys. If you're going to Comic-Con, have a good and safe trip. If you're not, hopefully you can see all the panels online or catch all the cool trailers and everything. And we'll be back next week with lots of news from Comic-Con.